Okay, we're just seeing the first people join now. Welcome to this evening's Cred.15. Just give everybody a couple of seconds to join. Thank you for joining us tonight. If it is your first time, we welcome you to your first Cred.15. If you've joined us over the last few days, welcome back. Just got a couple of seconds before we start. Okay, so it's 5:15 and we're officially good to go for the Cred.15 evening session. And for those of you who don't know, my name is Ronan McDonald. I'm the founder of Cred, and we work at the intersection of technology and education. My background is in technology, but I retrained as a neuroscience-based coach with the Neuro Leadership Institute, and I'm a professional certified coach. I've had the privilege and pleasure of working with people all over the world to help them and support them to change behaviors to create sustainable habits. And we work in three principal areas. We help people build awareness about their brain and the impact of that on learning capacity. We help people support their mental health and well-being. And we help people create positive behavior change for pro-social impact. A number of weeks ago, I had an idea to gather together a group of people to use our tools, experience, products and services at this time for a greater good. And I reached out to my network, and the first person to respond to that was Kendra Strudwick. For those of you who don't know Kendra, I'm going to introduce her formally in a few minutes. So we came up with the idea of Cred.15. What is Cred.15? It's like F45, but for the brain. So we want to create a space where we can support you to navigate these times, to feel connected, and to hopefully build some new habits. So it's 15 minutes every morning and every evening. And we preach some people are starting their day. We're going to have a familiar structure, start and end, but in the middle, we've got a bit of space for creativity. So we're blown away by the positive notes and the feedback, and we really appreciate everybody for the sharing and for the encouragement. And we had people on this morning's call from the US, from Ireland, from Spain, from Malta, and from Australia. And we're so indebted for you for sharing the love and being here to support us. A little bit of housekeeping before we start. We want to make this as interactive as possible. So for those of you who are not familiar with Zoom, you are all muted, but there is the ability to come off mute, and if we do have some time to invite people to share. There is a chat box as well, and for those of you who are on Zoom, you can type your answers and responses into our questions in the chat box. For those of you who are watching on Facebook Live or YouTube, we invite you to just reflect, or if you have a sheet of paper, please note it down. So without further ado, I'm going to pass over to Kendra Strudwick, my trainer, my mentor, my coach, and friend. And I couldn't think of a better person to be on this rocket ship with as we blast off.
Thanks, Ronan. And it appears we're putting the wings on the rocket. You've just muted me, I think. Can you hear me? Beautiful. So what I thought I'd do is a bit of an arrival activity and read you one of my favourite poems. The goal of this is just to help you become a little bit more present and arrive in the session. Just follow my words. You can have your eyes open or closed if you like. Perhaps we only leave so that we can once again arrive, to get a bird's eye view of what it means to be alive. For there's beauty in returning to the now. Oh, how wonderful, how strange, to see that everything is different and know it's only you who've changed. So welcome back. I can see some familiar faces, appreciate the support, and I can see some new ones as well. Our first activity is a regular activity that we do both morning and evening. It's a late check-in. Good, okay, or busy. Those three words, because we often say them on autopilot. I saw it today, you know, two people meeting for the very first time. How are you? I'm good. How are you? I'm good. How are you really? Might have generated a different response. So I invite each of you to double click into the how are you tonight and take 30 seconds to sum up and identify what you are actually feeling. Sometimes it's one emotion, sometimes it's a mix of emotions. So in 1 or 2 words, type into the chat box after tuning in how you are feeling. Let's take 30 seconds silence now to check in, and then we'll type into the box. When you're ready, type into the chat box the word or two that just sums up how you are feeling. And we know some of you can't see the chat box because you're streaming this on Facebook Live, so let me read out some of the responses. We've got everything from a bit frantic through to relaxed, grateful, uncertain, calm, uncertain again. Uncertain takes the word poll today. I'm not surprised. Actually, one of the things that's quite topical for me at the moment is the word uncertain, is the word difficult times. If I hear that one more time this week, or I read that on one more email from one more company, I almost think it's an anchor for me to start laughing. There is so much competing for our attention right now, and we're drawn to those words like difficult. Why we're drawn to those words is that we have a bias, a negative bias, a built-in negative bias that we came in with. Do you know that there's 5 times more neural real estate in your brain to notice threats than rewards? So you notice anything that might be particularly harmful, uncertain, or perceived as negative in the environment much more than you do the positives in the environment. Even someone who's an optimist that might looked at the opportunity in a situation has to focus on building habits in order to overcome that negative bias that's built in. So unless we are able to direct our attention to what are the rewards, what are the positives, we're less inclined to do it on our own. And here at Cred, we're all about building new habits. You know that there's 3 things that we focus on each day. We focus on how are we going to direct attention, how are we going to move and get some activity into our days, and how are we going to connect and reach out to those that we love, those that we want to support. So I want to talk a little bit more about direct. How can we overcome that negative bias that's built in? We can choose to look for the positives. We can be diligent and disciplined about looking for the positives. And so that's what I want to challenge you all to do right now, is to think about 1 or 2 positives that have come out of the COVID-19 global pause. I'm calling it a global pause because we're all pausing what would normally be our everyday lives, and we're operating very differently. So I wanted to challenge you to think about what are some of the positives that have come out of this different rhythm for you. And I've asked a couple of clients this recently, and people have said things like, well, I'm saving money on petrol or public transport. I'm not having to buy that weekly ticket that costs me $70. Or they've said things like, I'm able to do my laundry while I work. I find that really convenient. So it could be anything. It could be that a friend of mine said to me today, you know, I didn't realize how funny my son actually is. He's really funny. Now that I'm homeschooling him, I can appreciate his intellect and his quick humor. I never noticed that before now. So what is it for you guys? I'm going to give you a minute to think about this question. What's the biggest benefit that has come out of the COVID-19 global pause for you? The biggest benefit, positive, that you can think of right now. We'll leave a minute of silence just to digest the question before we type into the chat box. When you're ready, I can see Vicky's got the ball rolling for us. Thank you, Vicky. So we've got some benefits like getting to stay home, enjoy your house, your sanctuary, perhaps more than you normally do. Spending time with the kids, thanks, David. An appreciation of a more simple life. Yeah, I think there is that invitation to think about, what do we want our rhythm to be moving forward? Do we want a more simple life? Mother Nature is healing. Yeah, thanks, Vicky. We've had some nice cleansing rain today, and I've perhaps noticed that more than I normally would. Nadia, more time at home. Your cupboards are getting tidy. Finally, the Tupperware is not falling out as you open it. I think my husband's finally getting around to the tax, and that's been on the to-do list for months. So whatever these benefits are, keep them top of mind. And if you want the stretch invitation, share them with others. When everyone else's focus is on doom and gloom and threat and how terrible things are, I want you to be the beacon of, well, you know what, there is one thing that's working really well. Seed a little bit more positivity into the world. Rona, what else can we do to embody and embed our 3 focus areas?
Thanks, Kendra. So for me, I just want to spend a minute thinking about another reflection into direct. For me, I want to ask and invite everyone to think about, whether it's at the start of your day or the end of your day, is there something we can let go of and take our attention off? So one of my movement commitments today was to get out and go for a run. And I had a lovely run around Centennial Park here in Sydney, and I enjoyed it. And I came back and I saw my kids playing with styrofoam boxes from a printer I bought this morning, broken up all over the floor. And anyone who knows me knows I have a little bit of OCD, and I like order and I like cleanliness, and it would normally have freaked me out. So I need to step back and say, what do I need to let go of in terms of what can I not control at this time? So I want you to spend a bit of time reflecting on, is something at this time where you can let go of? It might be trying to control an outcome or a situation, and we realize there's not much we can control at the moment. So take 60 seconds to think about, is there something you can let go of? If you want to, please do share them in the chat box. I see a few people have started. Thanks, Nikki. Noisy neighbors, yes. Kendra, I can let go of the things that I didn't get everything to do on my to-do list. Glad you just let go of that. And guys, I want to just ask you to reflect about the move element, okay? Was there something that you wanted to get done today in terms of movement? Or if you're joining from overseas, if there's something you're planning to do in terms of movement? If you didn't get it done, don't be too hard on yourself. Tomorrow's a bright, brand new day. So just that little reminder to think about that and keep that top of mind. And finally, connect. Did we reach out to someone and have a conversation with a person today? Did we connect with a Corona buddy? Did we maybe put past differences aside? If you're joining from overseas, maybe there's the opportunity to do that. So just spend a minute thinking and reflecting about that. It's just come up to 5:30, guys. And thank you for joining us on the Cred evening 15 from this side of the world and the morning 15 from the other side of the world. And we'll be back here again at 8:15 tomorrow morning, Australian Eastern Standard Time, and look forward to having you join us. To Kendra, my co-host, thank you so much again for guiding us through a great session, and look forward to seeing everybody in the morning. Thank you.
Bye, folks.